We have details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 20 minutes. If you spend your time with me, you can also get interactive with us. We're live on Facebook as TV3 Ghana. Let's begin from the presidency. As President Mahama says, several investigations into allegations of corrupt practices in various sectors of the Ghanaian economy are ongoing urgently. The president noted that all persons found guilty in any of the cases will be dealt with according to the laws of the country. Addressing the country on his 120 days in office as president, the president said efforts are ongoing to recover all loot from previous government officials. Take a listen.
A cornerstone of our commitment to good governance and accountability is tackling corruption and eliminating waste. I promise to initiate inquiries and forensic audits into several critical matters of public interest. This war against corruption continues unabated. The Minister for Health is reviewing the Auditor General's report on the COVID-19 expenditures. After the review, the appropriate actions will be taken. The Sputnik V scandal is under investigation. The Minister for Finance has launched an inquiry into the collapse of indigenous banks and financial institutions. And make no mistakes, facts will be unearthed, culprits will be punished, and lessons will be learned. The Minister for Energy and Green Transition has commenced investigations into the PDS scandal. Deloitte & Touche is conducting an independent audit of the National Cathedral project. I expect their report by the end of this month. A number of officials have been invited and questioned concerning the 13th African Games. On April 30th, 2025, the Attorney General filed 11 charges against a former National Signals Bureau Director General and others for various offenses. Charges will also be filed in the Accra SkyTrain and the National Service Ghost Name scandals. The Office of the Presidential Advisor on Corruption will continue to receive complaints and reports regarding graft for onward transmission to the Attorney General.
And away from the presidency, Ghanaian statesman and founding member of the NPP, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, has lauded President Mahama for fulfilling some of his 120-day social contract promises to Ghanaians. Speaking in an exclusive interview with TV3 during the launch of his second book titled A Nation into Retirement, the narrative of a statesman, he, however, urged the president to take decisive and tough measures in the fight against mining and forest reserves and water bodies. Take a listen to the statesman.
I would say that he came up with a number of promises. And what I see so far, he's quite touched a lot of them. However, I am still not happy about the destruction of our water bodies. I'm not happy about the destruction. And the way they are tackling the water bodies are fair too. I'm not happy about it. But still, we don't have blue water, to be frank with you. The only blue water flow in this country at the moment is the water, which I even am told they have started polluting it from the north. So, even though he's done so far so good, I would say, but to me, his main target should be the what do you call it, the correction of the mess that have been created by so-called miners in our forest areas. These people should be held responsible. And secondly, all those who have been arrested, who are said to be foreigners, they have to go through the law courts of this country before they are deported. If there need be for them to be in prison, they must be in prison before they are deported. John, so far, I think 7 is okay for him. 7 out of 10. Yeah. So far, what they have done. But you can see that a lot is happening on the economy as well. And also, what I like so far, you see the ministers are doing their best. That sort of arrogance that we saw not quite long ago appears not a threat. So I think, and he has control. It appears he has enormous control over his ministers.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the 120-day in office of the president? We are live on Facebook. Engage us, get interactive with us. It's TV3 Ghana. We'll surely read them and share them to the rest of the world. And now the former Director General of the National Signal Bureau, Kabet Eduahin, has vehemently defended his innocence against allegations of financial impropriety, detailing the expenditure of Special Operations Funds in a letter written from his custody at the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO. And in the letter dated May 5, 2025, and addressed to the National Security Coordinator, Eduahin asserted that some of the funds he is accused of misappropriating were utilized to cover allowances for members of Parliament. While the letter does not specify the exact period or the quantum of these payments, his claim introduces a potentially significant dimension to the ongoing investigations into the NSB's financial activities. Eduahin also expressed his bewilderment at the Attorney General's attempts to connect transfers, withdrawals, and refunds related to special operations with assets that either do not belong to him and his wife or were acquired prior to the 2020 transactions under scrutiny. Our legal team will keep tap on this very trial and finish with updates in our subsequent bulletins. And our government is set to announce a new national airline 21 years after the collapse of Ghana Airways. A 10-member task force has been inaugurated, who, among other things, will finalize the business module and operational framework for the national airline. Ghana in the early 1950s was arguably the pride of Africa in the aviation industry. Ceasing operations in 2004 and the subsequent shutdown of Ghana Airlines in 2010, the country has been struggling to return to the air. Ghana has been without a national carrier after 21 years. The inauguration of a 10-member task force to see to the establishment of a national airline brings hope, according to the sector minister.
We have a task force that will periodically brief His Excellency the President through the ministry, and we wouldn't want to stampede them and give to them a kind of deadline or the extension to which they should operate. All that I can say is that that group of people, they have all it takes to be able to work around the scenes or behind the scenes, and this airline will be established.
The minister said Ghana will not use any model from another country, as was the arrangement with the previous administration.
We are not going to look at anybody. We are not going to imitate anybody. We are Ghana. And if it comes to airlines, you are aware that it was Ghana Airways that was flying within the sub-region and Africa. So we have our own standards. It has collapsed, and we are coming back. We are ourselves and we operate as Ghana.
Chairman of the task force, who's also a former managing director of the Ghana Airports Company Limited, Chasasari, said although the tax would not be easy, they will make sure it is done.
Going back about 20 years in all the political parties' manifestos, you see an attempt to revive the Ghana National Airlines. This is the time. We are the last stop to make sure it is done. And we will do whatever we have to with your support and the support of the presidency.
The task force, among other things, will provide periodic reports and recommendations to the president, coordinate engagement with potential strategic and technical partners, and also oversee regulatory compliance and certification processes. Hopefully, we see another Ghana Airways that will be viable this time around. If you just tuned in, you're watching the morning news, the first bulletin of the day right here on TV3. And now, Accra Circuit Court has granted a 30 million bail with 4 sureties, each for 4 persons arrested at the Swiss Airport Terminal at the Kotoka International Airport on April 23. The 4, Gary Basole, Josiah Baini, Emmanuel Menta, and Kobinampo for Anti are on trial for their involvement in attempting to export 73 slabs of narcotic drugs from Ghana to the Netherlands. Lord Eduahin reports.
The accused persons have been charged with attempted exportation of narcotic drugs without a license, conspiracy to commit crime, possession of narcotic drugs without lawful authority, and conspiracy to commit crime. Appearing in court on Wednesday, lawyer for the accused person, Gary Basole, argued that his client was approached by 2 Dutchmen to buy 256 artifacts from the Arts Exhibition Center in Accra. He said after packaging, he handed the consignment over to Ansadi's Shipping and Logistics freight forwarders operating at the airport. According to him, upon physical checks and examination by airport personnel on April 17, The items were cleared, but was arrested later on April 23 after the boxes were scanned again. The lawyer then prayed the court to grant his client bail, maintaining that his client was a victim of circumstances and innocent of the charges. Lawyers for Josiah Baini, Emmanuel Minta, and Kwabna Ampo for Ante also prayed the court to grant them bail, citing that they had already been in custody for over 7 days. But the prosecution vehemently opposed the bail applications. They explained that investigations were still underway and hence granting the accused person's bail would interfere with the work. Presiding Judge Sedinam Awu Kwadam, however, noted that the prosecution had not been able to prove that the accused persons would interfere with investigations. She then granted the four a bail of 13 million cedis with 4 sureties each. One of the sureties to be justified is to have a landed property worth 1 million Ghana cedis. Another 2 are to be civil servants with net salaries not less than 5,000 Ghana cedis. The court also ordered the accused persons to report to the offices of the Narcotics Control Commission twice a week. They are also to be placed on a no-fly shortlist and their biodata taken and submitted to the passport office to prevent them from making new passports. Lord Idasari, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's still stay at the court, and the Supreme Court has adjourned indefinitely the suit by Imani Africa and security analyst Professor Kwesi Enin challenging the authority of the President to terminate the appointment of heads of security agencies unless upon proven stated misconduct. The Apex Court was due to give its ruling on Wednesday, May 7. Here's another report by Lord Edu Asare.
Imani Africa and Professor Kwesi Enin, a security analyst, earlier filed an injunction suit against the removal of former Inspector General of Police Dr. George Ekufu Dampari. The Apex Court, however, dismissed it as moot after the President appointed a new Inspector General of Police to replace Dampari in spite of the suit. The 5-member panel of justices then adjourned the proceedings to May 7 to rule on the substantive matter, which the plaintiffs wanted the court to declare as unconstitutional the President's authority to terminate the appointment of the IGP and heads of security agencies unless upon proving stated misconduct or misbehavior. Lead counsel for Imani Africa, Kofi Bento, expressed disappointment at the new development.
We thought it should be ready by now. We suspect it's because of the suspension of the Chief Justice, who was the president of this panel. Indeed. That if she doesn't make it out of the suspension and the hearings concerning the petitions against her, then the panel could be reconstituted, and that could actually mean a rehearing of the whole matter, which can move us another 3-4 months. Right. So it's unfortunate, but like they say, the wheels of justice grind slowly. We have to wait and see what the law lords will say.
It remains to be seen when the case will be up for hearing next. Lord Idasari, TV3 News, Accra.
In more news this morning, 9 people have been arrested in a police raid at Akatechieso in the Adansi North District of the Ashanti region. The suspects were caught for illegal mining. Here's a report by our correspondent, Benjamin Adu.
The police raid at Akatechieso was prompted by intelligence pointing to illegal mining activities in the area. According to the police, they fired warning shots to get the persons working at the site to yield. Deputy Ashanti South Regional Police Commander Chief Superintendent Cephas Arthur confirms some persons were mining in the area but under national security protection, but the police are unable to confirm their identity.
Presently, we are conducting investigation, so we can't put a finger on who is who. So at appropriate time, when we are able to get further information, we'll get back to you.
Unlike the alluvial small-scale mining that involves excavators, this mine does rock mining where deep holes are dug into the belly of the earth in search of gold. Under this system, simple tools are used to excavate rocks containing gold for processing. According to the Ashanti Regional Security Liaison, Captain Retired John Kwame Jabari, the security operatives seized the site due to the mode of operations.
What sparked our interest is the use of illicit drugs and the crime rate over here and their mode of operation, the hazard towards they themselves, that got our interest to come to this place.
Police investigations are yet to unravel the national security's alleged involvement in the mining operations in the area. The Akata Youth Cooperative Mine Manager Samuel Jabbar narrated what happened when the security arrived at the site.
They only told us that there's a directive from Accra that they should come and take over the mine. So we were asked to leave. But we told them that in underground mine you cannot just leave like that. You have to leave a skeleton staff. So we left about 14 people to manage the place until situations are under control.
An investigative team looking into the matter has visited the area and pegged necessary information from stakeholders. The Akata Cooperative Community Mining is also in contention. The national security operatives earlier visited the area and certified their certificates and that of foreigners employed there. The mine has since resumed operations. But the investigators who went to the site as part of the investigations raised concerns over the authenticity of documentation.
Look at it. They are operating with fake documents. They have 5 different companies that they are working operating on the concession. And yet, they don't even understand the content of their own file. These are people who are managing our forests.
And now the Minerals Commission has unveiled a system to monitor and track earth-moving and mining equipment, including excavators. The Ghana Mine Repository and Tracking Control System is expected to provide real-time information on illegal mining activities. Christian Yale reports.
About 4,000 trackers are expected to be procured for monitoring of some 7,000 mining equipment at various sites. From the control room, live satellite and drone images from every Galamsey area will be monitored for a crackdown on the illegal practice. Excavators will be installed with trackers and will be assigned to specific concessions. The system will ensure that any excavator that moves outside its concession area is automatically cut off. Trucks carrying explosives, speedboats used by river wardens, and quarries will all be monitored.
In this control room, we are going to have eyes on the movement of each excavator. We are going to track them. We are going to know who owns them. And at any point in time, we are going to pair each excavator to a concession at a time. That is what we are going to do. Because if we don't do that, it means that once it's finished working here, it can quickly move to another concession. But no, this time around, we are saying that before you move to a different concession, you need to come through Mincom to ensure that we pair you to wherever you are going. We've created a small server room there where we have our servers, right, where we hold our own data. But we also in talks with NITA, right, to also have an off-site server warehouse where we can also hold our data.
The consultant added that the system is fitted with a module for security agencies to enforce the law.
We are installing load scanners across all the quarry sectors to ensure that we have eyes on each production data. That will help us to get the required royalties and taxes.
Convener of the Media Coalition Against Galamsey called on policymakers to scale up the program and implement it immediately.
Everything that we need to be able to deal with this terrorism that is going on is currently in existence. And I think the major call to the minister and then the CEO is to be able to scale this up. And there should be collaboration also with the Ministry of Transport as well, and then the Ministry of Roads and Highways.
Deputy National Director of Arocha Ghana, Darrell Bosu, requested timelines for the full implementation of the program.
I'm really keen to see how the system here connects with the work of the Forestry Commission and also with the Water Resources Commission. The alignment and the synchronization of all the various institutions and what they are doing is very, very important. So I think we need to have some timeline because we're really in a point of crisis and we need to get this out as soon as possible.
About 5 years ago, government promulgated the Minerals and Mining Regulations 2020 LI 2404 to provide for the registration and tracking of earth-moving and mining equipment used in mineral operations. This move, which would be decentralized, is part of effort to deal with the illegal mining head-on. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Accra.
And now the 2025 Hajj operations are set to begin this Saturday with the first batch of Ghanaian pilgrims flying out from Tamale to Saudi Arabia. Authorities are cautioning prospective pilgrims to avoid illegal entry routes and adhere strictly to Saudi laws. Deborah Abba Mensah has more on preparations Warnings and cost interventions by government.
About 6,000 Ghanaian Muslims are expected to embark on the holy pilgrimage to Mecca this year, with flights beginning this Saturday from Tamale and Accra. The National Hajj Task Force has emphasized the need for education and orientation ahead of the trip, reminding pilgrims of Saudi Arabia's strict laws.
They need to be told and reminded, even where they already know, that there are certain items that are prohibited. And I'm sure all of us here know, for instance, that the popular narcotics, the hard narcotic drugs, marijuana, cocaine, amphetamine, all those hard drugs are without any item of doubt prohibited.
Authorities also warned against attempts to travel using tourist visas, an illegal move that has seen several Ghanaians already arrested and detained by Saudi officials. Meanwhile, there's been a notable increase in interest this year, largely attributed to a reduction in Hajj fares from 70,000 in 2024 to 62,000 Ghana cedis this year. This, officials say, is due to passport facilitation team allowing hundreds of pilgrims to secure their travel documents within just 3 days.
We have sent that message time and again, time with that number, that there are some people who are trying to take undue advantage of the unsuspecting character of pilgrims who want to go and have not had the opportunity. So they tell you that they can reduce, we can take from 40,000 from you and get you to go to the Hajj through the back door. I can tell you that it is a very dangerous exercise, not only for this country, but even the pilgrims themselves. As we speak now, there are many pilgrims who have been arrested by the Saudi authorities, and they are languishing in jails.
Authorities are also warning against fraudsters exploiting desperate pilgrims by offering fake discounted packages. The Hajj Task Force, they say, is also working to clear the 4.5 million debt from past Hajj pilgrimage trips, with more than half already paid.
As we speak now, principally the biggest amount of it lay with the airlines. There's an airline called Flynas in Saudi Arabia. That is where the preponderance of the debt is. I can tell you that we have considerably reduced that debt. In fact, were you not even said, they will not have been prepared to even fly our pilgrims.
And on that Hajj note, we end the morning news. For more news updates, you'd want to log on to our website. It's 3news.com. You can also follow us on Instagram with TV3.gh for all the latest updates. My name is Josh Queenan, and thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Good morning.
Mothers are